Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Arlington Experience with Jim Ross. I'm Jim Ross and I am here at Miss Persis Dance Studio in the heart of Arlington, Texas. And the reason I'm so excited to be here is because my kids actually took dance here with y'all
Yes, they did.
25 to 30 years ago or something like that.
We stopped counting.
We're
not
time
counting
ago.
anymore.
That's right. I'm here with Persis Ann. Thank you so much for joining us and all this.
Thanks for coming over.
Tell us a little bit about the history of this place, because this is one of those Arlington iconic businesses that has been here forever. Your
67
mom,
years.
67 years. How did this place get started?
It was in a house over by the First Methodist Church, and it started with Enid Woodward. She had the studio and asked my mother to come teach for her. And then when Enid divorced and moved back to West Texas, my mother had a studio. So she was on Main Street, the old Main Street, upstairs above the Texas State Optical business. If you can imagine having a tap dancing studio above you. And then we were 43 years at Town North Shopping Center. And we've been here in this space thanks to my sister, Kim Forster Wilson, and her husband, Toby Wilson, for 16 years, I think.
Wow. So, now, how many kids do you think have been through this studio in the last 67 years?
Well, you know, Tom Vandergriff used to ask that question of my mother many times, and we figured at least in the 20 to 25,000 people range.
I think if a kid danced in Arlington or had any rhythm at all, they probably found their way to Miss Persis Dance Studio.
A lot of them did. There weren't that many back then.
Now, they've gone on. You've actually had some students who've come in here and gone on to have quite a successful career in the arts and dance and choreography and things such as that, right?
Right. Bob Heath was probably one of the first ones, and he danced on Broadway and ended up then as the head of the ballet department of the School for the Performing Arts in New York.
That is demonstrative, and I'm going to be a little bit biased, of the type of kids that come out of Arlington here.
That's true.
It just, we can create some of the best kids in the world here. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what the dance studio does. What type of dance do y'all teach? Things such as that.
We teach the basics, tap and ballet, jazz. My mother started a program many years ago called musical theater. And nowadays a lot of people have musical theater classes, but they're not really singing and acting kind of things. And that's what my mother did. And just diction, voice and diction. We're told that you can always tell a Miss Persis kid when they're in school, because they can stand up and say their name, they can stand up and read book reports, they can make speeches. So we work a lot on that. And in the olden days, when I was growing up here, we ended up doing a lot of shows for civic organizations.
That's just incredible. You know, last year we got hit with COVID.
Right.
And how did that impact the studio here and the students?
A lot. It impacted us a lot. What we ended up doing, we did have to cancel some things, and we didn't get to really have a recital. We videotaped a lot of numbers and kind of put them together. And if you look around, you see little red dots on the floor where people could stand. They had to be 6 feet apart, and they had to be, we check temperatures coming in. We do hand sanitizing throughout the class, but at the front door too. So, and wearing masks and all of that kind of thing. So we were quite impacted by it.
Now, when we came in here today, there was a gentleman in here giving a private class.
That's right.
And got to talking to him. He's quite an accomplished dancer in his own right. Who was this guy?
His name is Quentin Winston. And he started, he went to Seguin High School, and he entered the Teen Talent Follies one year, which was a production of our nonprofit called Dance Theater of Arlington. He was about 14 then, and I didn't see him then for about 5 years. And one summer, a young man appears at the door and says, "Hi, Miss Persis, remember me?" And I said, "No, you're a grown-up. Who are you?" And he reminded me, and I was like, "Of course I know who you are." and told me he had been in college and he really, really wanted to teach dance and teach hip hop specifically. And he had a goal of going to LA in a certain number of years, and he did go to LA and ran a studio out there and did some things, and then he auditioned. He was on a cruise ship performing. He toured with an artist, a hip hop artist, all over the world.
It's so disappointing that he left here, because had he stayed, I was going to get up and do some hip hop moves with him.
Gosh.
So now that he's gone, I'm just...
You're welcome to dance anytime.
Well, no, thank you. But thank you for offering. And thank you more for everything that you've done to the children of Arlington here. You have helped instilled confidence and talent, and you've given these kids a home away from home when they come in here, you and your mother. And
I see it more now with this COVID. I have kids that don't want to leave.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And for y'all to be taking care of our children for almost 7 decades
Isn't that crazy?
is just, it just touches me like there's no tomorrow. Tell folks, tell our viewers how they find Miss Persis Dance Studio.
We're located at 222 West Main Street in the Cultural Arts District. We also have a website, Miss Persis Studio of Dance, and we teach cotillion to 6th graders. We're about to have our spring fling dance. That's boys and girls ballroom dancing and learning manners.
Wow.
And, trying to support Arlington. I've lived in Arlington my whole life. I've never lived anywhere else. So.
Well, y'all are amazing. Thank you for everything you're doing for this community. Thanks. And folks, remember, get on over here and look at Mrs. Persis Dance Studio. Bring your kids over here. Check this place out. You won't regret it. It is a home away from home. I know that because my kids were here 25 or 30 years ago. So buy, sell, and eat Arlington. Until the next time, please take care of each other.